And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Thank you, Lala. Thank you.
Just
Greedy was
And a
just
1, and a 4, and a potato.
Just counting you in.
a potato.
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 1
Potato.
potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4.
Who's that?
Oh my God, we have another voice.
What's it with us and voices? People are gonna start thinking we're crazy.
The voices talk to you too?
I thought I was the only one that heard them.
Okay, fun.
Oh my God.
Hey, voice.
Hello, everybody. I'm
you-
Hector.
Welcome back, Hector.
It's kind of a sexy voice, dude.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Nice to meet you in real person. What? Okay,
What?
nothing.
That's a fat bastard.
Great.
Greedy has issues. Ignore him, please.
We all know this.
Hey, guys, this is Gotham Press. Thanks for joining us today.
Those of you that are left, thank you for staying with us.
Welcome back to the fray. How the heck are you guys? We miss everybody. I mean, oh my God, that luau was such a blast.
It was. I really enjoyed myself.
It
Under
sounded
the
nice.
sea. Under the sea.
Dude, there were some wicked decorations. The jellyfish thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my
the
God, that
jellyfish
was
really
so
nice.
creative. Lala, I hope you post pictures to the podcast for that.
I sadly didn't take good pictures.
Oh,
I have a few.
lies.
I know. But I did get a really nice review from an out-of-town friend
Nice.
who said it was like a prom, like a high school prom that you see on television.
The enchantment under the sea.
Yes. I thought that was great.
Oh my God.
Well,
Because they always look so good on TV, but then when you actually get to your own prom, you're like, this is it, balloons.
Let's hear it for the toilet paper.
So that was a very nice compliment. So
Greedy, how was your prom?
I don't know.
You didn't go to prom?
Didn't go to prom. Didn't go to formal. Didn't go to prom. Didn't go to, well, I went to one of the dances my freshman year. I fucking hated it. That was the last school dance I ever went to.
Hey, Lala, how was your prom?
my junior prom was amazing.
Okay.
I did not go to my senior prom.
But senior prom is the one that everybody wants to go to.
I did not go to my senior prom.
How about you, Hector? Did you go to prom?
It was, I went. It was fun and kind of awkward. I actually ended up going with a friend of mine who was gay, but he was kind of closeted about it. So, he had to take a, Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I am a trans man. I was female presenting back then. So yeah, he had to, he felt like he had to take a woman to, to keep up appearances for his parents. They were very Catholic.
You were his beard.
Wow.
But,
If
I mean, it
only-
was fun just being there and dancing and singing and, I had a blast. I think he had fun too. He was a little sad because his, the guy he was into didn't show up. And he
Oh.
said he was going to go. But,
That's
Pretty
sad.
foul.
yeah.
Yeah. I love those high school moments where you think all your besties are going to be there and you get there and they all flake.
Yeah.
That was a
Story
sarcastic,
of
I
my
love
life.
that moment.
Yeah.
I was like, are they too cool to be at prom? Is that what it is?
Maybe.
I felt lucky to be there. I actually couldn't afford it on myself. My mother didn't have the money, so I was kind of going around asking friends, hey, can you help me out here? And Josh was going anyway, so he's like, yeah, we can go together and pay less as a couple. So
Nice.
he helped me out. It was
Nice.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, my prom was shitty both times.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I went to junior and senior.
What was shitty about it?
Let's see. For junior year, it was shitty because I had broke up with the girl I had been dating beforehand, like maybe a couple weeks after she broke up with me. And then at prom, went to prom, kind of hung out a little bit, ended up going back to a hotel with her, and then she abandoned me at that hotel.
Oh, were you hoping to get lucky?
That was the plan.
Was she hoping to get lucky?
That was her plan until she came back in the room and saw that I had turned on a cartoon while I was waiting on her. It was just like Looney Tunes or something, like whatever was on.
Right.
And I wasn't paying that much attention to it, but she came in, looked at me, looked at the cartoon. You are such a kid, and started yelling at me.
Wow.
And so I walked out for let her cool down. And then I came back to the room, but I had forgotten my key card. So, of course, she decided to not open the door for me because I was being childish.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was fun.
That's awful.
Yeah. I ended up crashing in a stranger's room because they heard me kind of arguing with her, me in the hall.
Through the door?
Yeah, and they're like, dude, just come on. It's okay. Let her calm down. And then I ended up crashing in there. And when I woke up the next morning to go, say, hey, it's time to go, she was gone already. So, yeah, fun times.
Yeah, that's not fun. No, she just left you in the dust.
She has something. That was junior prom.
How about senior?
Senior prom was me and a friend of mine. We both went stag, basically. And then we were supposed to be going to a club afterwards with another friend of ours, older brother, who could get us in. What that ended up being was, oh, no, we're not actually going in the club. We're just going to parking lot pimp. We're going to park, and we're going to talk to all the girls and the women that go in. It's like,
That's lame.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
That's lame. That's creepy.
At the time, I didn't know that.
Right? But speaking of creepy.
Oh, yeah. Creepy. Creepy things are happening. Creepy things are happening in the world. Actually, before we get to those creepy things.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What's wrong, Greedy?
The creep is strong with this one.
Anyway, have we thanked our Patreon supporters? Thank you, Patreon supporters.
Thank you very much, Patreon supporters. We
If you-
appreciate your donations.
If you want to be a Patreon supporter and help out the podcast, it's as little as $1 a month. If you go to www.patreon.com/Gotham Press Podcast.
Mm-hmm. And if you can't make it onto Patreon or don't have the funds or whatever, just don't want to, well, we appreciate your reviews on whatever podcatcher you're listening on. It helps us get found and really helps with our ratings. So give us a shout out there too.
Thank you very much. Hey, Greedy, where can they find us, though?
Everywhere in the show notes.
All those show
We're on
notes?
pretty much all the major social medias.
We need to be more active on our social media.
We do. We've been getting more active on Twitter, on Facebook. So it's evolving.
Yes, it is.
We're pretty active on Discord.
Very active on Discord.
Yeah, we are very active on Discord. If you want to be part of that Discord, just go ahead and join our Patreon for that $1, and you are immediately a part of the conversation.
Right.
So anyway,
so you were saying something about being creepy. Creepshow. Do you guys remember that movie at all? Back
No.
in the 90s, I want to say?
I'm going to say a big fat no because it sounds creepy and horrific.
It was creepy and horrific.
That is not my thing. Greedy?
yes,
Creep show.
no. Okay. Awesome knows. Listeners know. I'm not really into creepy stuff. I've never really been. I mean, it's just not me.
Not me either.
Until people meet you and then they wonder why.
Hector, have you seen it?
I don't think so. I was raised by Mormons, so they didn't let me see a lot
Me
of things.
too. Yes. Although my Mormon
Cult power.
razors were
Cult power.
they were Jack Mormon, and I think they just wanted me to go to church so they could get rid of me for 4 hours every Sunday.
Yeah, my
What is Jack Mormon?
That means they call themselves Mormon, but they drink, they smoke, they do drugs, they do all the things that they shouldn't do, but they still call themselves Mormon.
Okay.
Well, but you still have the air quotes faith.
Right? Yeah.
Praise Jeebus.
I'm sorry, we interrupted you, Hector. What were you about to say?
I was just saying, unfortunately, my parents were and are still very devout, so yeah.
Fun
Okay.
times.
We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that in a little bit. Let's talk to us about Creepshow. Don't get gory, because
I'm not going to get gory. I was just going to give a quick synopsis thereof for the story. Creepshow was an anthology movie back in the 90s. Basically, I think it had 3 or 4 different horror-related stories, kind of like vignettes, just in a movie form.
Okay.
What they're doing now is they are talking about bringing Creepshow back as an actual series, a la, why can I not think of the show?
Tales of the Crypt, Twilight Zone.
Those both of those, yes, but the more recent one.
Twilight? That's creepy.
Oh, Twilight is not creepy.
Hey,
I have my crop. I will use it.
Hold on. American Horror
Horror
Story.
Story. I was going to say.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. So, listeners, Greedy is being threatened by the crop right now.
But he's smiling.
Promises.
All right. So when is this coming out?
These are the people I work with, listeners.
The listeners that want to know, when's it coming out? Do you know?
Currently, it's in work. The release date, I am rechecking before I say something wrong. It's supposed to be... Actually, I'm sorry. It's pretty much done. It's ready. It's going to be released on Shudder.
Shudder.
Shudder is a television station which was... I cannot remember what the previous name was. Basically, it's a station that focuses more on those horror type shows.
Okay, then I will never hear of it.
But it's supposed to be out on September 26th.
I still haven't heard of it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, I forget what the original name of Shudder was. It was.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know what I really like?
What do you really like?
Crepes?
I like zombies.
You like?
You
You
like
don't like
zombies?
horror things, but you like zombies.
I do like zombies.
All right,
Okay,
why do you
okay,
like
so-
zombies?
Because I can outrun them. And all
Have
I
you
need
ever
is...
seen World War Z?
We don't count those zombies.
I don't know. I like the Walking Dead. Certain episodes of that. Oh, Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun
that
of
was
the Dead,
hilarious.
Right? They're not
Oh my
scary.
God.
They're not. So I don't like horror, but I like zombies.
You like zombies. So have you
Zombie, Amazeballs.
the TV show iZombie?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I've never actually watched it.
Oh my
though.
God, it's so cute. I love it. I mean, zombies and cute, but it's true. Listeners, if you agree, reach out. Let us know. Candy Sweet Box.
Reach deep into Candy Sweet Box. But zombies, good thing you brought that up because my next story was actually about Zombieland. Zombieland Double Tap.
Stop
He
giggling.
grabbed her by the cervix.
That is. He's off on a tangent. No, Zombieland, go.
Zombieland.
Zombieland Double. Have you seen the original Zombieland, Greedy?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't seen the whole thing. I need to watch the whole thing. It really isn't that scary.
It's not.
And I want to say it's on like Netflix.
It's
Yeah?
on Netflix right now.
Yeah. So
Hold on. Hector, have you seen Zombieland?
No.
Definitely should watch. I'm not going to ask you, Lala.
I haven't seen it, but I love zombies, and so I'm sad that I haven't seen it.
So you will definitely be watching that. Zombieland Double Tap is bringing back the original stars. So you have Woody Harrelson.
Love him.
Why can I can think of the characters. I can see them, but I can't think of their names, and it saddens me.
It's okay, but I did watch the trailer.
You did watch the trailer.
So you guys can look it up. Zombieland Double Tap. They
Yes.
have a trailer. It's hysterical, and that made me so sad that I haven't seen the first one. So I'm definitely gonna
Definitely
go and do that.
does this one have what's his name? Woody Harrelson again?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
just said that.
Oh
I
my
will
God.
smack that phone out of your hand.
No, I was listening. I just didn't comprehend.
It's okay. It's okay.
But this one actually has more star power behind it. Because you have the original four, which were the main focus of the first movie. And then you have, I know I saw a scene with Rosario Dawson in it. Not Owen Wilson, the brother. Luke Wilson. Yeah, he was in it. Let's see.
Wow. No, that's Owen, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all.
That's Owen.
The guy from, what's that HBO show? Silicon Valley. The main guy from that. He's going to be in it.
Never saw it.
What really looks great is it's almost like they're taking the doppelganger of
Yeah.
the four original, which
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But that looks like such a great premise.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited to see that.
And there's a monster truck in it.
Yes.
How much better can you get than putting a monster truck with zombies?
That's
You know,
going to be
you
so
know what would
messy.
make it even better?
What?
Katniss Everdeen made an appearance.
Really?
I mean, since Woody Harrelson, you know,
Oh, yeah.
that would be funny.
Girl
like
on
if she comes on
fire.
even as a zombie, that would be even better.
Oh, that'd be great.
Talk about how she didn't have a good aim.
Yeah.
That would. Now I'm laughing. That's horrible. Greedy made me laugh. I feel bad. Oh, hey, Greedy.
It wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last.
Hopefully it will be.
Hi, big boy.
Ah!
Since we're talking about creepy, scary things,
Yes.
Something creepy just happened to me. Greedy touched me in a bad place.
under the table with his toes.
Yeah, and it scared me.
Oh, and the face that Greedy's making. He's such a happy, dirty man.
Is that fungus going to spread to me
Ew.
now?
Be glad you're over there, Hector. Not even in the foot zone of this guy. Yes. Hey, so every year I have a huge Halloween party.
Yes.
Yes,
You do?
I do. And Greedy's been to a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
And but you found out recently that
Yes, I did find out that some people, at least 80,000 of them, weirdos.
You're talking about that petition.
Yeah, I'm talking
my
about that
God.
petition to change Halloween.
But this would help me immensely for my Halloween date because I either have to do it like 2 days after Halloween
Yeah.
or 5 days before Halloween because it really lands in the middle of the week so
Okay,
often.
so awesome. What is the petition for?
The petition is to officially change the day of Halloween to be not October 31st, but to be whatever the last Saturday of October is.
That would be awesome.
It would help me.
That would help me too.
Yeah, it'd be convenient.
I like how you
Southern
just kind of
bars.
like, yeah, I'm
We all
detached
turn and
from
look
this.
at Hector and you.
So, my question for the Halloween purist: what's your desire to keep it on the 31st based on? Just because it's always been that?
Yes, it is. It has been that way for thousands of years.
It's the tradition.
Then, okay, so if we don't change the day to the last Saturday, then why can't we take the 31st and the 1st and just make those the national holiday so we don't have to work, we don't have to worry about getting drunk, we don't have to worry about anything except celebrating this amazing
I got
holiday.
two reasons. First reason, the 31st, if it falls during a work day, they don't care about that. They're like, hey, we need you to be in here. This is the national thing. The second reason is, even though the 1st is the Day of the Dead, that's not an American holiday.
I'm just saying, if they're going to petition to change it to the last Saturday of the month, why not petition it to have it as a holiday the next day or the day of? Or
They probably have and got turned down for that.
Okay, so we need to amend the petition. Have Halloween stay the 31st for the purists like yourself.
Yes.
And have Halloween observed on the last Saturday.
Okay, see, I would accept that.
I mean, that way the holiday itself is still sacred for those that believe in such a thing. And at the same time, those trick-or-treaters get to go out trick-or-treating on the last Saturday, and parents everywhere would appreciate
Oh,
that.
I see what you're saying. That's great.
But see, then my other issue with the petition was saying, yeah, so now trick-or-treaters can go out during the daylight hours. It's like, you don't go out during the day for Halloween.
No, you do not. You go out when it's dark, you go out when it's creepy, and you go out when kids can bag snatch other kids' candy.
Did you bag snatch, Greedy?
No, I did not. I got snatched several
While
times.
I agree with that, I can see how a lot of parents have concerns about how safe it is for their kids to go out at night, because neighborhoods aren't, some of them aren't very safe. I know mine isn't.
This is true. And that's where being a good parent comes into play.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And honestly, even just getting candy from strangers' homes is not safe either. I prefer the trunk or treat ideas where the churches are doing it because at least I feel like that's safer.
I wish there was a non-denominational trunk or treat.
Oh,
Yeah, same.
Well, Pioneer Village.
We have one.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes. Yes.
I was going to say, you actually reminded me of something with the unsafe candy. I cannot think of the name of the movie off the top of my head, but one of the storylines in it was you had this older guy that was really, he didn't like trick-or-treaters. So he would give away candy, and it was great, except the candy had razor blades in it.
Wow, that's scary.
I got a popsicle in my pocket. Why don't you reach in there and grab it?
Wow, that took a turn.
Well, Greedy's suddenly quoting Family Guy stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've never watched that.
Get your fat ass back here.
You've never watched Family Guy?
Never watched
Okay,
Family.
just like I don't like horror, I don't like stupid humor or cartoons that are dumb.
I watched.
Is that a cartoon?
Oh,
It
yeah,
is a
that's
cartoon.
It is.
It's with the football guy, right? The football head kid?
Yes.
Stewie or whatever.
The
Moving
football head.
head. No, that's Hey Arnold.
That is Hey Arnold. Which is a kid's show, but has some heavy storylines to it.
Hell yeah, it does.
Okay, well, back to Halloween. Do we think this petition is going to go through?
No.
Well, they've already got 80,000. They only need 100,000 to have it pushed to be heard by Congress. Senate?
Congress.
But then it has to go through a whole nother rigmarole.
Congress, Senate, signed by the president.
Oh.
Yeah.
If we're going to make it official for the country, that's the process it has to take.
I'm not going to say anything. Okay.
No, say it.
No.
Signed by the pumpkin himself.
The great
I was
pumpkin.
going to say Oompa Loompa, but he dresses up every day. So he's going to be a purist, right?
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, he pretends to be the president.
And we lost all the Republican listeners now.
Well, we did. That's possible. I like to think that we are a non-political podcast, and we will openly bash either side of the aisle.
As long as they deserve it.
Don't they all? They're politicians. They're begging for it.
That was kind of the joke.
It's just the hair. I can't get past the hair.
And the orange skin.
And the skin.
And
And
you
the
can
toss.
tell he wears those little goggles that you wear in a tanning bed.
And the micro hands.
The what?
Does he
The
do
micro
that?
hands. No, he's got tiny hands. Have you ever seen him sip a bottle of water?
No, he
I've
uses
never
both
paid
hands.
I'm going to find a picture of this
Wait.
right
Later,
now.
Greedy.
No, it has to go right now.
He uses
context.
both.
It
He
has
uses
to be.
both hands to drink a bottle of water. I will.
Whap him.
Hey, yeah.
We can put it on Discord later. We can put it on Discord later. Let's talk about word of the day.
Word of the day. So, for this episode, listeners, instead of just doing a word, we have a request. Send us your favorite horror movie villain. 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever era your favorite horror movie villain is. Like mine personally, Freddy Krueger. Because he's a horrific person that is going to kill you, but he has fun with it at least.
Okay, so I watched every single one of those movies when I was in high school.
Really?
Those did not scare me.
They're...
He was so ridiculous.
The first one was scary. The rest of them, he had a sense of humor about how he was killing people, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did enjoy those. Do you have a favorite villain?
I'm not sure. I guess it depends on which movies would count and which
Like a
wouldn't.
horror movie?
All right, well, what do you consider a horror movie?
Who are you asking?
I don't know.
I'm asking Hector.
Okay.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me is 13 Ghosts, because that was one I really liked when I was younger.
13
But,
Ghosts. 13 Ghosts. I'm
Who
trying
would
to...
even be the villain in that one? I guess the guy who owns the house? I don't know.
Because the only thing, when you say 13 Ghosts, my mind goes to Scooby-Doo, and I'm like, that can't be right.
No, it was basically, it was based on you needed to gather these 13 ghosts, and 12 of them represented the Zodiac, and one of them, I guess, was supposed to be created through a selfless sacrifice, and it was supposed to open the gates to hell or something like. They had this machine,
wow.
and the ghosts were powering the machine that was going to open the gates to hell. And, yeah, it was complicated, but I don't know. I just found it really interesting.
Okay. All right, so he's got 13 Ghosts. Greedy. Horror movie villain?
I'm really at odds with this. I mean, there are a couple of horror movie villains that I like, but I have no idea what they actually did in the horror movies.
What's one that you liked?
Pinhead.
Pinhead. Okay.
Because he looks kind of funky. I mean, I've never seen the movie. I couldn't tell you what his actual role is, what kind of psychopath he is, but...
He's a demon from hell, and he's there with the other Cenobites to basically give you all the pain / pleasure they feel like you can take. And then some.
Pleasure?
Because after a certain point, I'm trying to remember this. I'm going to misquote it. People correct me, please. You can correct me by emailing us or going to our Discord. You know how to do it.
Or call Candy Sweetbox.
Or call Candy Sweetbox. Basically, after you feel so much pain, it becomes pleasurable.
Oh.
So they just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Got it. So I don't watch horror, but I would have to say, just watching like blips from commercials, the scariest ones are the It Clown and Chucky.
But he's your friend till the end.
Oh, I don't like dolls. Freaky.
Lala, have you heard my doll story?
No. Wait, is it really scary and I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight?
No, you'll be fine. When I was young and Child's Play was first coming out.
He used to hump his doll.
Ew.
I mean, I humped a stuffy. So.
No, Greedy. Anyway.
I still have it too.
Anyway, and I may have even told this on the podcast.
You what?
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 Greedy, you speak first.
No, please.
Okay. I may have told this on the podcast before. I'm not sure. When I was younger, my mother, we were living at my grandmother's house at the time, and my grandmother had this old. It was a doll, but it was like the size of a young child, dressed in a baseball uniform. And when you walk past this doll, if you hit the floor just right, you will cause the eyes on the doll to blink.
Ugh.
Yes, exactly.
Creepy.
But here's the thing. I never had a problem with it until I saw Child's Play. And then when I saw Child's Play, every time that doll's eyes would blink, I like freaked out. And then, of course, my mother told me one day, go ahead and take that doll down to the basement. I don't want to, but my mother's telling me to do this. So what I did was what any kid would do. I picked it up. I took it down to the bottom of the steps. I laid it right there at the bottom of the steps and ran back up the steps and out the door.
I would have opened the door to the basement, kicked the doll across the room, and kicked it down the stairs.
But the problem is, it was one of those fragile ones where it would break. Like you could feel that it would break if you did that.
But you touched it.
My mother told me to.
But you held it. It could have come alive and strangled you with.
I was well aware of that, but you know what? I was more afraid of my mother than I was of that doll. I mean, come on now. Are we not all afraid of our own mothers at some point in our lives?
No, I was not afraid of my mother.
Oh, well then. Be strong.
My mom sucked. But that's another story. All right.
Real quick, Hector, I'm pretty sure you've done this before, but black or white?
Oh, white.
White. You remember how this game goes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
He's going to write an answer.
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 Yes, this is an answer card.
All right.
So we'll get back to that later on in the episode. All right. So with that.
So now we've given him a task, and now we're going to start asking him questions about
Now we're going to start
his
asking
life.
him questions.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that time, huh?
Well, actually, before we do that, you were talking about the luau.
Oh.
How was the luau?
Oh my God.
Oh, it was so fun.
It was a blast.
So much fun.
Hector, were you there?
I was not
wasn't
actually.
there.
This
Think so?
one unfortunately fell on my son's birthday, and he turned 18 this year, so it was a
Happy freaking birthday to your
kind of
boy.
a big deal. We had a pizza party. He got to hang out with his friends and play video games and stuff. So
Nice.
That's awesome.
You
yeah,
don't look old enough to have an 18-year-old
I
kid.
was.
yeah, I know. I was only 19 when he was born, so
I'm sorry, you don't look close to that age.
37,
Yeah, you
older
don't.
than you.
barely. You don't look my age.
Yeah, people say that all the time. I got asked if I was his uncle once,
Oh, wow.
and of course, you know, my oldest two are taller than me already. So,
Well, yeah. Let's just delve into the fray. Yeah,
Until the fray?
into
All
the
right.
fray.
Oh, into the question.
Into the breach once more, my
All right.
friends.
Yeah. So because we're continuing our series of alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup.
And-
So that is why you're here, correct?
yes, I am a pansexual polyamorous trans man. So, I am attracted to all kinds of people. I'm capable of loving more than one at a time. And I was assigned female at birth. Obviously, that wasn't accurate. So I started my transition around 2012-ish or so. And, you know, pretty far into it. Not quite finished yet, but I'm here.
Okay. So can you tell me a bit more about pansexuality? Like, what is pansexual?
So, to me, the reason I identify with that label is because I'm attracted to people, and gender really isn't a factor for me. Like, if I like you, I like you. It doesn't matter what gender you are or what body parts you have. Personality to me is more important than that.
Okay. All right. And as far as that goes, so when did you actually realize your pansexuality as your preference?
Well, I actually came out as bi first because pansexual wasn't a term that people used a lot back when I first realized I wasn't straight.
Mm-hmm.
I was, in like my early to mid 20s, and I had this friend that I had a really big crush on, and for the longest time I didn't think much of it. You know, I didn't even realize it was a crush because I was raised by, you know, like I mentioned, Mormon family. They think being gay is a choice, you know, and I was just going to choose not to do it because I was a good kid. But I had this friend, and at one point we had a really bad argument, and a funny thing is this friend turns out to be trans too, so we were both living as female at the time, but then I transitioned later. He transitioned. So it was, it was kind of a gay relationship either way, but, or it would have been if there was a relationship, but, no, it was kind of a one-sided crush, and anyway, we had that fight. He stopped talking to me, and I realized that it felt just as bad as when, because I was actually married at the time, so I kind of found out I was poly and not straight at the same time, because I'm like, well, shit, I love this person, and that's why it feels just as bad as when, the last time I argued with my husband at the time. And he was a cis guy, so. But, yeah, I don't know. It was a lot to take in, and it actually kind of broke my brain. I had an episode, or I don't know what the official term for it was at the time, but I lost it. I started hearing voices and other crap, and I actually, my mother took me to the emergency room, and then they sent me to a mental hospital for a couple of days, put me on some drugs, and...
Wow. That's intense.
Now, this was prior to...
It kind of shattered my whole worldview, so,
Your body went into shock.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was gonna say, and so all this was prior to your transition, correct?
Yeah, I figured out the sexuality thing first. The transition, gender is kind of a complicated thing when you think about it, and I spent so much of my life, I guess technically I always felt I was different, but again, because I was raised by Mormons, I didn't know that trans people even existed.
Wait, what?
You're kind of
I was
shuttered.
raised under a conservative religious rock.
Shelter?
Okay?
Thank you, not shuttered.
My parents did not want me knowing anything about the queer community whatsoever.
But you were aware that was a thing in the world, right? Like, just the queer community.
Not exactly. The community as a whole. Trans people, not so much. The only thing my parents ever said about trans people before I came out to them, there's one time when I was, I don't know, a little kid, 3 or 4, whatever. It was about the time I was starting to realize there were differences between boys and girls. And I knew my parents called me a girl, so I was one to them, but I wanted to be a boy. And so I thought, well, what's the difference? Boys wear pants, girls wear skirts. I've got both, so I can just wear the pants. A lot of boys had shorter hair than I had at the time, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to just grab this pair of scissors, cut my hair, and I'm going to be a boy.
Oh, I'm sure that went over very well.
And then my mother caught me with the scissors, and she was so upset that I cut my beautiful little curls off, and she said something about, nobody can change who they are that way, except for those crazy people who have those operations, right? So that one dismissive comment, and from then on I knew that she'd never understand or accept me.
And that was when you were 3 or 4.
Yeah, I was tiny.
And you remember that.
Yeah.
That's great. I do not remember
Well,
that.
because it was such a big deal to me. Like,
Because you
I knew
already
I couldn't
had...
trust them to accept me.
You already had feelings that you weren't right.
Yeah.
Is that the
Like,
right
I always felt
terminology?
more like I was one of the guys, but nobody around me really recognized it because I didn't look
Like
the way
one of
a
the
guy
guys.
should
Right.
look. Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question was, are you out to family, friends, all the above?
Yeah, pretty much. The only place I'm not out is work, but it doesn't really matter at work because, we just do the job and we go home for the most part. I do have a couple friends that I work with that know, but, I'm not out to work at large. But yeah, all my friends, all my family, it did cause a pretty big rift between most of them because, like I said, devout Mormons, so they...
They either had to love you or disown you.
Yes and no. They didn't quite disown me, but they definitely rejected me at first, and, some have come around more than others. Like, my parents just don't get it. My father would not, if he were here today, he would misgender me in front of everybody.
Oh, wow.
And not think anything of it, because that's my dad.
But is your mom still around?
She uses the right name and pronouns, but I can tell that she doesn't think of me as the same. Like, she doesn't wish me a happy Father's Day, or like when she does these Christmas newsletters every year. And she lives up in Idaho now, so I don't really talk with her much. But she'll do these newsletters, and she'll, when she mentions my siblings, she'll go on to say he or she afterwards, but for me, she just uses my name. Like, she can't bring herself to use he when talking about me in front of the whole family.
But in those letters, does
So-
she refer to you as Hector?
Yeah, she does.
Oh,
At least
okay.
use that.
Well, that's good.
It took me a while to get her to respect my name. She wanted to give me another one, and I was just like, no, you already had your shot at naming me. I'm not going to give you another one. I'm picking my name this time.
Yeah. So how did you go about picking your name? I asked.
I think I mentioned on here last time that I used to write fan fiction a lot. So I had characters, and I would usually make a big deal out of looking up the meanings behind names and stuff like that. So I wanted to avoid any of the names I used for my characters, just because that would
characters?
be weird. Huh?
For fanfic.
Oh, for fanfic.
Yeah, but I always I like to look up the meanings behind names. So I looked up the meanings behind several different names, and before I get into that, I do want to tell you guys I changed my entire name, first, middle, and last.
Oh.
Okay.
Which is a little unusual. Most people
Yeah,
don't
it is.
do it that drastically, but my first and middle name were both very feminine, and then I didn't want to keep, my dad's name, or my dad's last name. I didn't want to keep my ex's last name. When you think about it, last names are usually passed down the male sides of families, right?
Yes.
So if you're a woman, you get somebody else's name, and I just didn't want that. I wanted my own.
Okay.
Understandable.
Plus, my ex was abusive, and my parents were abusive, so I just kind of wanted to,
Break that
Separation.
cycle of abuse.
I didn't feel like they wanted me in the family anyway, so I was just gonna make my own thing.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm done with it.
Good for you.
Good choice.
Like,
No,
I don't
that's
need
great.
this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I looked up a bunch of names and the meanings behind them, and for a while I was trying to decide between Hector, Heath, and Henry, I think it was. Like, I wanted to keep the H and the E from my old name. It was Heather.
Forgive me for saying so. You don't look like a Heather.
Yeah, I never felt like one either. Even, in school, all of the Heathers were usually very feminine, and I just felt like, this is not me.
Yeah.
But, so I was trying to decide between those three, and I think my mom liked Heath, but it was shortly after Heath Ledger had died, and I was like, well, I don't want it to seem like I'm taking a dead guy's name, even though I think he was a great actor.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hardcore.
And I don't know, Hector just sounded good to me, and it fit with the last and middle name that I wanted, and also Henry. Harry is short for Henry, and I don't like Harry. I actually used to wear my hair, my bangs down in front, and people compared me to Harry Potter when I did that.
Oh.
So I was like, it's just not with any of that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be Mr. Potter?
Yeah, no. But then my mother got all pissed off because she didn't like Hector. So
Well, it's not her name now, is it?
Nope.
let me tell you why, though, because the reason is really fucked up.
Oh, please do.
So I actually asked her at one point, because I told her that was the name I'd chosen, and she still kind of kept calling me Heath for a while. I'm like, why don't you respect the name that I've chosen? And she said, well, it sounds Hispanic. Like, that's some horrible thing, it's sounding Hispanic.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
she's racist.
I was going to say that, but
And that just made me want to keep the name even more. So I was like, it was kind of a big fuck you to Mom, because...
Hey, Mom.
wow.
Crazy.
So you were saying before you have your own family at this point. How did they take to the transition?
You mean my kids? Or...
Yes.
Okay. It was a little different for each of them. My oldest son was actually really excited because it meant he had another dad in his life, and one that's actually going to spend time with him, unlike my ex. But, so he was excited. My daughter was a little sad at first because she felt like she was losing her mom, and I just told her, I'm always going to love you no matter what, and I told her, you don't have to be like me. Be yourself. I'm still going to love you. And she, she got to a point where she accepted it. I actually came out to them back in 2010, so this was a while ago. And my youngest son was cool with it, and the thing is, after my daughter got okay with it, my kids were my biggest supporters. We'd go out in public, and if someone misgendered me, they'd be, no, it's he.
Aww.
That's nice.
That's the best.
People always worry about, oh, well, what are the kids going to think or how are they going to take it? But the kids get it, man, you know? The kids aren't bigoted like some of the adults are.
Right. They have more of an open mind. So how do they feel about you dating just any gender?
They're pretty fine with it for the most part. They don't always like all of my partners. My last partner, my oldest son, didn't like for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, they've seen me with men and with women. I haven't really dated any non-binary people yet, but I would if, you know, if I
It
found
came
somebody.
about.
Yeah.
So you're poly, so you've had multiple relationships in the home with your kids,
Not
or do you kind of...
exactly. I did have, like my last relationship, I did have someone that I was kind of dating while I was in that relationship, but it really never got quite that serious. So.
Okay. But the kids know, and they're okay with... They get it? They understand what that means?
I think so. I haven't really, like,
Delved
sat down
into
and
that.
explained it, but I've... Like, if it comes up casually, I'll just talk about it, you know? And it's, you know, I mean, I'll talk with them sometimes, and, like, my son is... my oldest is like, well, I think I'm just going to stay monogamous because I can't deal with multiple people and blah, 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 you know?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well...
Greedy, you were chuckling.
I'm sorry. Yeah, a friend sent me a meme that it's
How's that thought, Greedy?
it's inappropriate.
Ay,
La la.
ay, 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 ay.
I know.
Do you have... I know that you... So I'm just going to read what pansexual is in the dictionary.
Go
just
for it.
for those of... Because we got your take on it, but this is what it is. Not limited in sexual choice with regards to biological sex, gender, or gender identity. So with that being said, though, then I guess you don't have a preference. You don't prefer...
No preferences.
You don't prefer. So if you were going to have a poly relationship, you wouldn't care if it was a male or female as your number one. And again, the same for number two. It could be both women or one.
It's more about the connection I develop with a person than anything else. So whoever I feel closest to, whatever place they take in my life, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of, you know, what I'd like in a nesting partner, I don't think I want a man or a woman. I do often think I want a submissive or
Real quick,
maybe...
you use the term nesting partner. What's that?
I love that
yes.
term.
So I don't really like the hierarchical stuff very much. So nesting partner would be kind of the non-hierarchical version of a primary, someone who lives with you and who is your main, well, maybe not necessarily main partner, but someone you have a close, lasting relationship with, you know.
Okay.
Like someone I might, you know, settle down with and marry or collar or all of that.
Okay. So, collar, how, as far as being pan, does that factor into your kink life as well? Like, hey, yes, I will take anybody and make them my, you know, I haven't even asked. What is your kink preference? Top, bottom?
My roles, top, dom, daddy, sadist.
Okay.
Usually that side of the slash. I don't really switch or anything.
Okay.
But it also really depends. You said like I'd take just anybody. It's not just anybody.
Well,
It has to
obviously
be,
not just anybody.
you know.
I didn't mean it that way.
I don't think Awesome was trying to say that you're easy or anything like that. I mean,
Or desperate.
Or desperate.
No. I did
I
not
mean, I
that.
may have misread it, but
Oh, Greedy, one day you'll learn how to read it.
If anything, I could probably stand to be a little less uptight.
Uptight as far as like
Well, it's,
picking
you know,
someone or...
Well, that and it's hard for me to get close to people sometimes because I spent so much of my life trying to be something I wasn't, and then it's really only since I joined the kink community that I've had real friends who knew me for who I really am.
Where you can
know.
just open up and give
Just
give
be
all the
myself with
information
people.
and not worry about
I
being
mean,
judged.
joining the Antelope Valley Munch when I first joined down in Lancaster, that was the first time I could be myself around people.
Yeah.
So
That's got to be so freeing.
yeah.
Yeah, I know it is for me too. And I don't even have all the diversity that you have in your life. So
It's really
so great.
difficult to get vanilla people to understand, especially when you live in a place that is either very conservative or very like half and half. And Lancaster's kind of similar to Bakersfield in that aspect, where you've got these two sides that are, it's almost half and half, and the roots of that community are very conservative and religious. So, you know, being out on the streets is not something that happens much out there.
Yeah. So you are poly, and but you want a submissive, but you also identify as a daddy. So what if you had, what if you had a submissive and then another partner that was what?
I mean, hypothetically, I could have as many different
baby
partners
girl,
as I have roles, or one partner that does more than one. It all depends on the person. Like, for example, my last relationship, he was my submissive and he was my nesting partner. Or we were working toward that anyway. I'm not sure. I never quite got to the point where I collared him, but we were almost there. And then I was seeing this lady on the side who was a masochist. So that, for me, I just find that having someone who accepts and appreciates that side of me and plays off of my sadistic energy is a really wonderful thing to have. And so my play partner right now is a masochist. If I had a relationship with someone else, it would depend on, like I could be a daddy to somebody's little, or a dom to somebody's submissive, or, whatever else. I mean, it just depends on the person.
Okay. So there's not like a preference as far as I want a little and I want a submissive. Or,
I mean, I want those things, but I'm not going to try and force anybody into it who doesn't want it,
If it comes to you, yes, but you're not going to be like, hey, you're going to come here and you're going to be this thing.
Pretty much. And like my last partner, I said he was my submissive, but he was not a masochist. So when I played with him, it was all lighter, sensual play. And I saved the heavy stuff for the masochist. So...
Sorry, it just had to crop awesome for shaking the whole table. If you heard some ruckus, that was all Awesome's fault.
I am so leaving it in there.
If I don't cut that out.
Oh, leave it in there. You will leave it in there.
At least you're not Uncle Ruckus.
I may leave that in, but I'm not leaving that in.
Oh.
All right. Anyway, we're being rude.
We are being rude. Sorry. We tangent sometimes.
I was I'm sitting here yapping away anyway, so.
That's kind of what we have
yap
you
away.
here.
That's the reason we've got you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it depends on the person and the role they play with me specifically, I could have more than one person doing more than one of those things, but I also think, different people are just into different things, I wouldn't expect masochism from somebody who's not into that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
I think so.
Do we have any other questions?
I think...
I have one.
Yes.
All right.
Now that you've transitioned, I mean, I realize you said that your transition isn't complete. Are you happy?
Mostly. So what I say when I mean it isn't complete, for those of you that know anything about trans people, I am on hormones. I've had a top surgery to remove breast tissue. I haven't had a bottom surgery yet. I want to get that done in the future. It's just something that I'm kind of picky about because I want the best doctors out there, but they're all the way up in San Francisco, and I can't just go leave my family for a month while I'm doing that.
That's kind of
even
important.
if I could get my insurance to pay for it, which is kind of a pain in the ass in and of itself. So, I'm looking at that some point in the future. Well, no, some of them do, but even when it is covered, you have to jump through so many hoops to get stuff done sometimes. Like, I had to see... Jesus, just to get my hormones covered, I had to see an endocrinologist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and I had to keep seeing them like every month, every other month or so. So they have all this documentation saying that this is good for me and it's not going to be detrimental to my health in any way,
Matt, how long did you have to go through that before you could actually get your hormones?
Oh man, several months, almost 6. But I actually had a insurance change in the middle of all that, so I ended up, all of that work we did ended up being for nothing anyway because I had a new insurance, and at least that covered most of it. I only have a copay of $20 now, but
So did you have to start that process all over again with the new
no,
insurance?
it's the new insurance is the primary, so the old one is kind of inconsequential now. But just because there were so many hoops to jump through,
Right.
and I have to go and get a whole new endocrinologist now because I can't see the one I was seeing because of the insurance change. And
Okay, I
it's
don't know what is
Endocrinologist?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
oh, endocrinologist. It's someone who deals with hormones and their effects on the body.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And so are you giving yourself the shots?
yeah.
Yeah. And how is that starting out?
Well, it's
And-
not exactly starting. I've been doing it since 2012.
No, I know.
But,
In 2012, how was that? Was it hard to do?
Oh, well, originally, I kind of did bad thing because you're not supposed to use it without a prescription. I couldn't get a doctor to help me at first, so I just looked up as much information as I could find online, bought something from the UK, had it shipped in. So I kind of started up all on my own. I really didn't have anybody to help me with it until I got a doctor down in LA, because nobody in Lancaster was going to help me out with that.
And so were you honest in telling them that you had already started
Yeah.
the shots? And they were cool with it? They were angry? How
The
did
doctor in LA was the people up in Lancaster just don't. I mean, I'd had a few people straight up tell me, we don't do that here. As though my transition is some thing and not related to the rest of my life. And the last guy I saw before I switched to a doctor in LA, he was like trying to help, but he didn't know what to do, and he kept misgendering me, and I was like, screw this, I'm getting somebody else.
Yeah. So now administering the shots is easy? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, well, I mean, I'm not especially fond of needles, but I really enjoy the effects of the hormones. They help me feel happier, more energetic, and of course, all the secondary sex characteristics, the facial hair, the other stuff.
Is that an everyday thing?
No, it's just once a week.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. It's just a little injection. I put it in my arm.
It's a
and
needle. It's a
I
big
go on
deal.
with my life.
It's a big deal.
It's not that bad. I donate plasma. Those needles are
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
so.
And
And then you gotta sit there for like an hour or two and pump your fist.
Squeeze the fist.
I'm needle phobic.
I ended up in there 2.5
need to go to
hours
me with
last
the blood
time I
bank.
donated. So
Lala, are you okay?
hormones are much easier than donating plasma for sure.
Oh yeah. We can stick some needles in yours.
I know. So,
So, Lala, Greedy, do you feel that we've reached a good point with this conversation?
I think so. Hector, do you feel we've reached a good point with this? Is there anything else you would like to put forward?
Well, there was one more experience I'd like to share if you guys don't
Please
mind.
do.
Yeah.
Be dragging this on a little longer.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
I did talk about my family not taking it so well when I came out, and because of that, there was a period of time where I just kind of became a shut-in. I got to the point where I couldn't present as masculine as I wanted to. People would misgender me wherever I went out, and so I just kind of stayed at home, and I'd get the groceries, do the laundry. I had friends online, but I didn't really have any friends in person. And I spent a couple years that way before I finally found the Antelope Valley Munch. And I just want to say it means so much to me to be a part of this community and a part of that one, to be able to find people who appreciate and respect me as a person, who aren't trying to change me or who don't think I'm something that I'm not. It's really improved my life so much, and I'm grateful to be here.
We are very happy to have you as part of our community.
Thank you.
and part of our podcast now.
And part of the podcast.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, the first time for me, because,
Yeah,
I wasn't here the
Yeah,
first time
micro-
that you were on.
Thank you,
Yes.
micromanager.
yeah, micromanager Lala. These are all brand new experiences to her.
And I am learning so much.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job.
Aw, thank
Don't
you.
you dare close your eyes. Hold your breath. It gets better.
Grady, I'm gonna need you to not besmirch Aladdin ever again in life.
I'll take you anywhere. There's time to spare.
Hey! Hi, Mr. Zala.
Huh.
I think there is a drop pickup that you were talking about before.
There is a drop pickup.
So
I think we need a gentleman to read this.
I will go ahead. I'll take the bait. I'll take the case.
I'll read the one
I was
female.
gonna say you'll take the master.
I'll
bait.
read the one female line.
And this is why we don't get you nice things, Reedy, because you ruin
I
things.
know. I ruined them.
So weird. All right. So this is a... Oh, God. I'm just now actually reading this thing.
Right. Okay. So there's no punctuation. So you read it with no punctuation.
No punctuation at
Is
all.
this the one you told me about?
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
The title is Laugh at Me.
Yes.
Okay. So... I can do this. My inner grammar Nazi will not win. It already won. I'm sad. All right. Would you... I gotta get a voice. Hold on. See. Okay, I think I got it.
Okay.
Would you please laugh at me and humiliate me and for being a tiny cock-loose white boy with a premature ejaculation problem that takes women's dirty panties and sniffs and wears them like a loser, please?
I'm laughing now. So charming.
You please message me on Kick, please. Please. My name is... Edit name.
Boo.
You shut up. I sent you pics and all my info to use however you like, please. And scene.
And scene. You notice that the woman's part, she used commas and
Yes.
exclamation points and
I saw that and that was rough, but I made it.
I know.
Listeners, these are the pains I go through for you.
Listen, he is such a grammar Nazi that if I write your incorrectly, which I still do,
You asked me to do this as well.
I did. Yeah, he will correct me. Like if we're texting or whatever, he will come back and say your with the apostrophe.
with the correct version of your.
So yeah, I'm still learning grammar.
It's an everlasting thing. One day you'll learn it.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was fun. I'm really glad you came.
Thank you.
I know you had to take some time off to do this, and we really appreciate it.
We very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what this means? This means that people love us so much they are willing to take time off to accommodate us.
I know. And if you want to be on our podcast and you want to share your story, but you can't come when we are taping, then get in touch with us and we will work out a schedule that works for you because we want to hear your stories.
We will definitely do our best to accommodate.
Yes.
We didn't for Hector because Hector. Anyway.
But well, he was willing to accommodate for us as long as we could push it out a couple weeks, and we appreciate
You're
that.
my friends, so anytime.
Yay.
Well, it's been very nice having you back on.
Very nice. Hey, could you read us your white card? Or wait, do we need a question first?
Hey, Greedy!
Oh.
Hey, Woody.
Sorry.
Can you give us a question so that we can get the answer?
I was actually looking up a question, asshole.
How did we know that?
Language.
It's a great thing.
I'm so sorry. I gotta watch my goddamn language.
Yes.
You are such a fucking idiot sometimes, man.
Both of you.
I
will wash your mouth out with soap.
I'm not.
In the tub? You gonna get in the tub with me?
Oh, I was thinking the shower, but okay.
Okay, so the card will be you did a white card, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the red card, the black card.
Oh my gosh. Would you engage with us, please?
The black card is going to be I like doing blank to Lala's llama.
The Grand Canyon. Not really something you do, but
I like
well, I
doing.
suppose if you had something big enough to put in there.
We gotta find out if the Grand Canyon is a sex move.
Isn't everything
It's
a sex move?
Not with
Everything is a sex move.
not with my llama. By the way, folks, we have a name for the llama.
What's the name?
All right. It's Lucy Furry Llama.
Lucy Furry.
Lucy Furry Llama. So Lucifer Llama.
Lucy Furry Llama.
But she's a girl, so it's Lucy Furry.
Lucy Furry.
LLUCY Furry Llama.
Lucy Furry
That's
Llama.
cute.
And she goes on our adventure, so check out the FET page and the Discord, and you'll see pictures of her doing her thing.
Yeah, you may have seen her after.
A perverted podcast.
That's when she was having some
The Grand Canyon cleaned out.
Wow.
by Count Boogie.
Yes. Yeah.
Agreed. Any final thoughts?
Did we ever say the word of the day?
Yes.
We did?
We
Oh
did.
my
Okay.
goodness.
Horrible. We
We've
had a
recorded
whole
so many of these.
conversation.
I know. We've recorded so many episodes. I'm kind of losing track of what's what.
Don't worry, listeners. After the podcast is over, I will have him bend over and I will give him 10 thwacks with the crop.
Only thwacks?
Thwacks.
He looks so excited.
If you're excited about that, you should give us a call. 1-805-303-1173. Leave us a message. Tell us how badly you want to hear the recording of those 10 thwacks.
Okay, so that may actually get some calls.
It might. We'll see.
We may make it a Patreon only thing.
It could be.
Okay, that would be funny.
All right.
Hector, any final thoughts from you?
No, I'm good.
You're great.
Thank you.
You're great. And I'm so glad that I got to finally meet you and hear about you and talk to you and yeah. I mean,
Same.
because we've seen each other a million
I've
times,
seen you around.
but we've never just talked. So this was good. And now I won't be so shy to come and talk to you after this, you know? Yeah.
All right. Hi, Mistress Micromanager Lala. Any final thoughts?
Just do what you want to do. Be who you want to be. Don't be afraid. Go for it. And if you don't know what to do, then try to find someone who's maybe feeling the same way you are and get some advice.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And this is awesome. I enjoy this. I enjoy every podcast that we do. It's always great. I always learn something new.
Me too.
With that, listeners, it's been great. It's been fun. Hope you all enjoyed yourself. Hope you all enjoyed us. We definitely enjoyed having you. Having listeners.
Oh, gosh.
We enjoy having people. It's fun.
As always, get out there, have fun. Please don't break your toys. Sometimes you lose them that way. Other than that, this is awesome. Saying we are out.
Bye. Now bend over.
Oh, spank me.
Put your headset down and bend over. Oh, God, you are wanting it too bad. I can't take you seriously like this.